And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to Koi Place Tarot. My name is Koi. I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As we move into September, it was a big Labor Day weekend, at least where I'm at. We're now looking at your first and last for the month of September. First and last is a reading style I do where new opportunities, feelings, just things in front of you that could either be categorized as new or renewal will be represented by aces. Water, earth, fire, and air, cups, pentacles, wands, and swords, all telling, hey, this is what is up on the chopping block. Could be new, could be a newfound truth that we have. It just has this element of freshness to it, right? Their correspondent, the tens, are underneath it, first and last. The tens represent here either culminations, harmonizations, ultimatums, things of that nature. However you define it, it will show up in this read. As a preamble to how I do reads, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse, right? At times when we sit with the tough things, when we hear things that we may or may not be resonating with, we have to ask ourselves, A, why do we come to a read? And B, why do we feel so repulsed by it, right? Let's sit in the uncomfortable because the uncomfortable is where we grow. So follow along with me today in your first and last for the month of September, Aquarius. Let's see what the cards say. Starting with the Ace of Cups here, show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in their first and last month of September. First and last for Aquarius, the month of September. What about emotional openings and beginnings in the emotional realm? To the Ace of Cups, first, okay, Seven of Swords. Why this feeling of splitting attentions? Okay. Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups. Okay. And lastly, Nine of Swords. Okay. So, starting off with that Ace of Cups, I don't want to call it delusionment or being deluded, Aquarius, but there's a notion that we're trying to hype ourselves into a state of believing more possibility exists with a situation than there actually is, and therefore our anxieties are triggered. The easiest way I could put that. The Seven of Swords and Nine of Swords encased in that Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups represents emotional viability and many possibilities in many directions, right? The fact that that's in between here, the Seven of Swords, that which tells you, hey, not everything is as it is on the surface level. And the Nine of Swords here, that which engages our nightmares and our fears, and everybody has them, not singling you out for it, please do understand. It's strange that it's in an opening position with the Ace of Cups, right? The Ace of Cups here now says, okay, either I face the things I've been running from in regards to all the possibility that I held, or I keep on telling myself that there is more opportunity here than there actually is. So I don't know why you feel like there's a chasing motion going on here, but there's just this notion of I have to tell myself that this doorway, this pathway is still wide open for me to go through. Otherwise, the reality starts caving in. What that means to you depends on the situation. Again, every Aquarius is different because every person is different, but this is just a general sign collective. Going to the Ace of Pentacles. What about solid new opportunities, the tangible that presents itself for Aquarius, month of September? So the cards that we need to see, please. Upon the Ace of Pentacles for Aquarius in the month of September. First and last. To the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Lovers, card of Gemini. How so? Empress. Two of Pentacles. Okay. That doesn't explain why the emotional opening is there, but let's just read this for now because I guarantee you we're going to have to come back to this. There's just so much energy wrapped up in anxiety and I don't want to say false prediction, but a predictive pattern that we're not addressing here. So let's start with that Ace of Pentacles. Upon new opportunity, we see the Lovers, the Empress, and the Two of Pentacles, right? So I don't know. This isn't simple connection. Let's get that out of the way, Aquarius. This is not just, oh, I met somebody, there's intimacy there. No, this is, I'm finally making a lover's path balance out with somebody, or at least that is the hope, the try, and the effort, right? The Empress is the most productive card that we have. It says that, hey, fertility in all directions, but we're going to be producing, we're going to be manufacturing the right things. And saying that alongside the Lovers, whatever journey this is, we're making things balance out. Right? I don't know if this is an intimate partner reading between you and another person. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but whatever we're saying is choosing us back. It's starting to reach a balancing point. It does not explain all the emotional anxiety still held. And that's the part that I'm trying to comprehend here. Probably get revealed somewhere in this read, but there's no opportunity that you and another, or you and something that's external to you, can make the choice to balance out. That is showing itself as a possibility on the table, right? The Two of Pentacles represents juggling. Does it mean that both things will eventually top up? We'll see. But what we can see, at least in the beginning, is that the juggling effort is made, right? Trying to get those pentacles to work, trying to make that interplay happen. That's what's most crucial here. What does the Empress actually mean in motion, not just in theory? So to the Ace of Wands, what about the fire that drives? What advice of our spirit, Aquarius? Show us the cards that we need to see, please. Find the Ace of Wands. Because again, that's a very, beautiful notion, and congrats that that's opening up for you, but it doesn't explain why we open emotionally to saying we're entertaining all these possibilities. Why possibility if we have all these choices? Or at least a very clear and defined choice. Yeah, I'll take it. No, I'll do one more shuffle. The reason I'm shuffling again, the cards snapped on themselves, so I technically count that as a small break, in which case a shuffling is necessary. Ace of Wands. Okay, Star. So you come out as trying to find, not only define what you are for you and to you, Aquarius, but what your hope actually is. We're trying to find purpose right now. How so? The Devil, card of Capricorn. Okay, well, that probably interplays to this. Let's dive a little bit deeper in the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, I think I see where this is going. So we're starting to touch back here, and the most honest way I can say it, you have a choice to make between what is already seen as abundant and present and the entertainment of something that's been on your mind for a while, right? The idea of the Ace of Pentacles, I'm reading this as connected to the base element of the reading, Aquarius. What we're trying to see within, or trying to grapple with, is why is my attention going all over here if I say I have this new and abundant opportunity? And the truth of the matter is, and I think we got to be honest with ourselves, right? We see the love and the productivity that we can give in different directions, right? If this is pertaining to attraction or possibility with intimate partners, there is somebody else there in your heart and in your mind space, Aquarius. There's no other way I could read it. And the reason being is because the Devil, the card of Capricorn, in my opinion, is one of the most honest cards in the deck. It's just honest about everything we don't like about ourselves. And to put that between the Ace of Pentacles and you, the new opportunity that you find, the new opportunity you hope for, that we may not even say out loud, because again, we don't have to say in order to hope, tie it back over here. Why would that be under all this loving energy that we're trying to balance out with, at least materially? And it goes to this notion of everything is not as it is on the surface, that Ace of Cups belying the Nine of Swords, Seven of Swords, and Seven of Cups. Not everything is as it is on the surface. We're having our nightmare anxiety engaged by saying we're emotionally fine because of all the possibilities that we still hold. They all tie back to this Devil. And what that's telling me here is that, okay, there's a possibility of this picturesque relational dynamic, or this picturesque, this is how I want this dynamic, this situation, possibly this opportunity to go for me. Remember, it doesn't always have to be an intimate partner. This is how I want it to go, but my heart and my mind is still entertaining something else that I feel shouldn't be there. And the very fact that we're saying all this shouldn't already indicates where it is, right? We wouldn't be entertaining it if it wasn't already there. But this effort or denial that we're going into is also creating this misery. Can you have, and does part of you want that same exact dynamic with this possibility over here? I think so. And that's just based on what I'm seeing in the cards. But we also have to be honest, what you're trying to do, at least materially, is enact on what you have with that lover's journey. But part of you wants to entertain that lover's journey with another possibility, another cup. And the admittance to say that out loud, to say, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I actually want, that's bugging you more than you want to admit. I thought I had everything that I wanted right here. Everything was just fine. And then boom, this inner turmoil that I'm having is making me reflect on myself versus what I can actually have and want. And part of you worries, the more we try to disillusion ourselves about what we claim we don't see and what we claim we don't know, the more it eats at us, right? The more effort we have to put in to claiming that something isn't there for us, the more it actually is. To the Ace of Swords. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, upon the Ace of Swords for Aquarius in their read, first and last month of September. What upon that Ace of Swords? That is your home element, a truth, and by extension, a challenge. What is truth here? Okay, the Magician. So truth is we are summoning, we are trying to manifest. Nine of Pentacles, separation and individual prowess. Why? Two of Cups. Oh boy, okay. So going to what I was saying earlier of somebody who is trying to separate from a connection that they feel that they don't want to be tied to but still are, we first have to say what we actually want, which is you want to be tied to that connection. I know I sound very harsh right now, Aquarius. It's not meant to be flippant or just disrespectful. That's not what I'm doing here, right? But I am trying to be as truthful because it is my job as a reader to see what I see. And what I see, under your truth, you're trying to claim independence from a connection without acknowledging that you want that in the same way that you're trying to break away from it, right? This Magician to the Nine of Pentacles and Two of Cups is playing in two different directions. One is saying, I'm trying to separate from this other possibility, this devil that's eating at me. That way I can have this picturesque dynamic with whatever I had or whoever I had already. The other side is saying, I actually want all of that with this possibility over here. I don't know if that door is still open. And that's the devil that eats at me, is that I'm going to say everything is fine with me right now, even though emotionally inside I'm at war with myself, right? If we're seeking individuation, ultimately this plays back to the notion of the Lovers, the card of Gemini. Lovers is not just, the beauty of romanticism, the idea of all the beauty of life. The Lovers is a choice, because once that choice is made, other choices fall to the wayside. And saying that, we're trying to individuate from the Two of Cups, which my question becomes, well, which pair are we separating from? Because right now, that devil suggests part of you wants to separate from this idea of the well-practiced whatever dynamic you have towards whatever this possibility is. And there's a lot of, almost basically self-deprecation going into that, saying I shouldn't want for that, I can't want for that, without realizing that the more that we play into that, the more it actually indicates exactly what we want, which is outside possibility. So why we're trying to manifest this so hard, I don't know if it's this idea of loyalty to whatever you have. Again, everybody has their different reasons, different culminations, and different justifications. But what it's saying over here, we're trying to distinguish ourselves from a certain two of cups connection. That devil is sharply saying we don't know which connection we want at this point. That's what I see. Underneath it all, Eight of Cups, the need to walk away. So there's an Aquarius here who, if it's resonating by now, it's hitting hard. If it's not, you'll see me next week, right? But if it is pertaining to your situation, you know what Aquarius. We don't have to deny it or try to distance ourselves from it. The notion of needing to walk away because you cannot have all of these options at once. What was it? You can't have Jane and Edith too, or you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's a misnomer, the way that people translate that phrase over time. The notion of you can't have all these options at once. We have not truly distinguished and said out loud what we truly want. And that is honestly what's, the biggest conflict I see on the board right now, at least in your opening of newness. We're saying, yeah, I don't want this, even though I'm constantly looking over at it and hoping, and part of me is wishing that, no, I don't want that, right? It's almost a self-denial at this point because it's a practice that you're saying, oh, I need to focus on what I have instead of what I'm saying this is a distraction. But if it's a distraction, I mean, that's your choice, right? We have the option to believe in that, but we also have to admit how much, if we're saying it's so small and minuscule that we can look away from it, then why does all of our energy and all of our effort, this Seven of Swords, that Nine of Swords, is trying to basically poke out all that possibility, trying to stamp on it, trying to do whatever it needs to say this is not possible. And that showed up under your emotional opening, some of the first set that we drew in this read, Aquarius. So this is going to be a brutally honest read, but it is a very honest read, and that I do commend you for it. We just have somebody struggling in the heart space of saying, this is what on paper I say that I am working for, this versus this is what I actually want. What are we going for? To the Ten of Cups. Looking towards endings, we now look at the Ten of Cups, the abundance of water, harmony and synchronization with what is going on in the universe for Aquarius. Show the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius upon their read. That's a break, and that's just bad shuffling. If it breaks again, it's not bad shuffling, it's purpose. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, upon that Ten of Cups for Aquarius in their read. What about harmonies that we're reaching for fulfillment? To the Ten of Cups, we hold... Oh, okay. What are we hoping for? What are we waiting for? Breaks again, I'll ask the first question that comes to mind. Okay, so that Ten of Cups, the Sun. Oh, well, I understand why. The Sun here depicted in this deck is the Sun vomiting a rainbow. What couples with the Sun? The Two of Swords. And the Chariot, the card of Cancer. What are we hoping for that in spite of all the confusion the journey is having right now, we have the best and most ideal outcome? The thing that, and again, this is why that I'm kind of iffy upon that definition for you right now, Aquarius, because you haven't said what you want, right? The ideal outcome will be there once we admit exactly what we want. But right now, we can't get there unless we actually choose to go there. And I think that's why that Two of Swords is popping out sandwiched between the Sun and the Chariot. It's like, yeah, you could have happiness, but you haven't told me what happiness looks like. Ten of Pentacles. Show the Ten of Pentacles to Aquarius upon their read. What is detailing the Tree of Life and everything that goes into it? Why that Ten of Pentacles located here in the read for Aquarius, first and last in September. Ten of Pentacles, King of Wands. Okay. So that we do have it in our capacity to choose rightfully. The moon, card of Pisces, that there are things that we have not either sat with or contemplated yet, things we have not yet considered, that we're starting piece by piece, to open that door and try to contemplate what that means. Ten of Wands, the burdens that we carry. So to get to where we need to be, at least now we're being more forthright and saying, if I want to understand everything that's going on, I have to sit with everything that I've carried, right? Does that mean that we've gotten to our decision yet? No, but at least we are recognizing there's a problem here that we want to address. Again, that moon, we finally got the chance to say, hey, what's going on here? And I think, it's kind of like math. What do you call it? Algebra, where the first step to solving the problem is establishing that one exists. Here, we're starting to say, okay, the problem exists. I need to actually see what parts of the equation are playing out. To the Ten of Wands, upon the burdens that we carry, show the cards that we need to see, please, upon that Ten of Wands for the read. Reveal deeper into the Ten of Wands. Okay, I don't think this is just me bad shuffling, because I have been bad shuffling, but not that bad. What do we need to see upon the Ten of Wands for this read of Aquarius today? There we go. To that Ten of Wands, we show Five of Wands, an external conflict now is made more obvious than it originally was. It's not simply a weight for me to carry, but it's a weight for me to address. Four of Swords, that I have to sit still and review instead of just saying, okay, well, we go straight at it. No, this is the first time I may be even acknowledging some of these dynamics. King of Cups. My burden is to make the emotionally right decision that I feel is best, right? Sitting with all of me, not the parts that just say this is the ideal me, but sitting with, okay, even if this was the ideal me, why is this still there, right? The King of Cups can handle and grapple with all emotions. They need time and basically the level of honesty and reflection to handle all of them. Eventually, he will find his grail. To the Ten of Swords. So the cards that we need to see, please, upon that Ten of Swords for Aquarius in their read. What is significant of the Ten of Swords? Rather sharp, but still conclusive endings. Okay. To the Ten of Swords, we show Wheel of Fortune, that things can in fact change with time. Okay. Five of Swords. Okay. Five of Swords. That right now our actions are not displaying the truth of what we actually think or feel. Page of Cups. Remembering the base level happiness. Why are we here? What are we doing? Okay, so under the painful truth, we have to admit that our actions are contradictory. And this is pretty much established up in the top layer, but just to reiterate, it's not that we have what we don't want and want what we don't have. I think, at least for the Aquarius I'm looking at, you have something that you thought you might have wanted and another thing that also fits that framework and you want that too. The thing is that our actions are not allowing us to have that breakthrough moment, right? It's not saying that it's a full self-denial. Again, that Five of Swords is trying to encounter that Ten of Swords, and it's a half, so it is a difficult confrontation. But it is saying, hey, I'm going to arrive at this conclusion. I'm just going to run straight at the blades. And so we're trying to remember the base emotionality, but also saying things can and will change with time. Right now, I don't think you'll be able to get through the process without going through this emotional hardship of saying, hey, this is where I stand. And that's the Aquarius I'm looking at right now. You got to go through this, whatever this is up here, this debate, this whatever dynamic is of multiple choice and possibility. And if this is, the process that you need, as whether that be a coping mechanism or something that serves and benefits you right now, just understand that is what it is, a mechanism. Does that entail exactly what you want? No. And eventually we gotta get to the point where the tail wags the dog. Underneath it all, King of Swords, being able to make the right decision. When all debates are had, all things pushed to the side, what are we left to do? Who are we left to be? Yeah, we have that next to an Eight of Cups. Well, something has to be walked away from, but we're not in the stage of being ready to give up anything. What are we sitting with? What are we willing to make choices about? Because I think we're having emotional openings here, and that is good. That is very good. But there's also the truth of, yeah, there's so much denial about what this possibility was for you, Aquarius, that it almost feels disingenuous to engage with what you thought all of this new opportunity was. And again, I'm specifically talking about the situation of the heart that has multiple people residing within it, even if it's not said out loud. This is particularly for those if it applies to a lover's connection. I will say this. This person, this other entity has shown up enough that you also need to be reflective on the dynamic that you currently hold with the person that you consider to be bonded with right now. Right. We have been reflecting, looking back at this enough, pretending that we don't look back at it. While we look back at it, this has happened enough as a pattern that we had to say, okay, we got to sit down and have an honest discussion about this. Because you're trying to seek individuation, part of you is not realizing that your heart is going two directions right now, or at least it's not being truthful about that. For the others, of an opportunity pursued that we keep looking back at, we have to admit that we want it. It still comes to the same exact principle. Let's start with, I saw the Empress first. Define deeper the major arcana strewn across the table for Aquarius in their read. We start here with the Empress. What about highest evolution of self? What are we trying to engage with and therefore be more productive around? Show us cards we need to see, please, upon that Empress. Okay. To the Empress, we hold 10 of Cups. Trying to be a better version of ourselves for harmony that we seek to reach. Okay. I understand the purpose. I understand the utility. What does that actually mean besides emotion? To the Lovers, 5 of Swords. And that's why I'm saying, with this dynamic that's being held out right now, it's starting to show up in whatever bond you claim to have presently. And that's pertaining to the Aquarius, again, who is in kind of this emotional three-way, this emotional triangle between themselves and another person. It has shown up in whatever dynamic you currently hold. And maybe that is the reflective point that we have to sit with right now of saying, if this isn't impacting me so much, why is it impacting me so much? There's no other way to say it, Aquarius. Let's look to you first. Ace of Cups. And so our hope for, or the hope that we have here, again, tying to the idea of emotional newness or emotional renewal, either with what we have already or possibly the thing that has been, we've been putting almost in a pressure cooker this whole time. Part of you wants that, and we need to be honest about it. To the Devil, the Sun. I think this came up in, what was it? Aries 1-1 read, for August, the Devil being underneath the Sun for their other person. Now, if you're connecting to an Aries or the Aries represents that third party, hey, that might be something worth looking at. Again, videos are constantly interplaying with each other. But that Devil to the Sun means two things. If the Sun is an everlasting happiness, we have a youth holding, I want to call it a shawl, I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it's a very, very brightly colored translucent scarf with a sun behind it. The happiest we've ever been is lying behind the Devil. So we need, I'm not saying that those two are incompatible, but there's a level of honesty that needs to be had here. And that's why I'm saying we're doing a lot of emotional concealing and a lot of pretending right now instead of saying what we actually mean. For that devil, if we're happy with whatever this was before, then why are we looking at this? If we're happy with this, why are we not honest with that? Right? We can't claim to have the sun underneath the devil. That is, unless you were a Capricorn, right? Which you are not. That is your opposite element. Everything. That's just not what it is. The sun underneath that devil is telling me you're claiming you're already happy, even as you constantly look to what you claim you don't want or cannot want for. In which case, you would have to come to the conclusion eventually that you have what you do not want and want what you do not have. Right? If that is the situation that you're going through right now. But there's something about that sun that's not adding up here. Right? There's something about our spirit burning for that which we claim we don't want and can't need. Where's the truth in that? Next, the Magician. Wheel of Fortune, hoping that things change with time. And here, this is honestly is going both ways right now. I can't really call a spade on it, Aquarius, but it is the Magician, power of manifestation, that what I want will hopefully want me back once I choose which cup I'm actually ready to part from. Thing is, we have to acknowledge that we want to part ways with a cup set first. There's a lot of hope here that things will change. Things, in fact, can change, but we haven't reached that point of saying everything that we mean. And therefore, the cogs of that wheel turning, however so they might, they will not be into motion unless we make that decision and make it forthright and honestly. To the sun over here, Queen of Swords. And this is why I was saying earlier, there's a lot of pretending that we don't know across the board, at least from what I saw in your read, Aquarius, is that you know what's making you happy, otherwise we wouldn't be looking at it. Whatever this means to you, whatever this other opportunity is to you, if the read has struck by now, it has hit very hard. If it has not, it is not for you, right? That's just how sign collective readings go. If you want a more specific read, catch me one-on-one, right? But having that Queen of Swords underneath the sun, if we claim that we know what happiness really is, then that means we also have an answer to this dynamic, right? We have an answer between what we claim we don't know and what is already there. To the Chariot, Two of Pentacles, again, finding that balance of how the journey can and should go. Next, the Moon, the card of Pisces, Queen of Cups. And so what you're unveiling with whatever choice that we're deliberating on, because here was a very big point of deliberation, Aquarius, saying, okay, well, what happens if the emotions really are there, really are true? Hey, what's next? Have you even thought about it in that capacity yet? It's something for you to entertain, because otherwise you're going to see it as the burden that you choose to carry. Next, there was one more, the Wheel of Fortune underneath that Ten of Swords. Hierophant, the card of Taurus. That part of my path, the journey that I'm on right now, actually intimately involves dealing with this dynamic. Okay, so even past the behavior of contradiction and contradictory attitude, we're saying, okay, we're going to dig in and try to find out what our answer is to this. I can respect that. Resolution, reveal cards of resolution to Aquarius upon their read. What's held in Spirit's resolution for Aquarius in the first and last, the month of September. Show resolution for Aquarius, please. Because, and like I said, and I've said it a few times throughout this video so far, either it really hits or it really doesn't. And if it really does, you really need to sit. And if it really doesn't, well then, hey, some reads can be good just to listen to, right? Some things can be good just to watch, even if it doesn't apply to you. Because at least, even if you are an Aquarius and none of this applies at all, then we could say, okay, if I were in the situation, what would I realistically need to do, right? In resolution for Aquarius, we hold the Knight of Pentacles, a long-term investment, one that we have to be the active catalyst within. Next, Seven of Cups, possibility at your doorstep. This right here That's what we need to address underneath it all. Knight of Swords, the ability to take action and walk away. And I'm saying walk away here because that Eight of Cups is coming out underneath the King of Swords. I'm talking to an Aquarius right now who has a decision to make. You have a very sharp decision to make. Do we go with what we claim is providing happiness and perpetually look at this the entire time and say we don't want it? Or do we try to engage what this means meaningfully to us and address this distancing factor that we're having in our current dynamic, whether that be it's largely coming up as an intimate partner, but it could be a job situation or venture opportunity for us, right? There's a reason we're looking over here, Aquarius, and our truth is that part of us wants separation, but the heart hasn't said separation from what yet, at least solidly and firmly. Now the actions are starting to show. I think it's showing up in your current dynamic where okay, certain things are starting to peel apart. We're not saying what we mean. We're not meaning what we say. And it's starting to show. It is very much. But part of you is realizing, hey, now that I'm able to grasp all of this, I do commend you in with the effort of doing that. Now that I'm starting to grasp all of this fully, what can actually change and what do I need to sit around and wait on for more clarity? We're getting to a state where we can finally say, we will solve the problem. We know math. I know you know it. So that's the read. That's the conclusion of the read that I see for you today, Aquarius. Again, this is kind of a toughie because these types of situations are, kind of hard to deal with at times. But once we start to establish what the problem is, we also have the steps in order to fix it. Which way you go, it involves walking away from one thing, but do know that when you walk away from whatever it is, whether it be the possibility or dealing with the dynamic that you currently have and wanting to give to that possibility, understand another pathway shuts. That's just how it is. And I see somebody who's trying to go on that pathway absolutely, fully, full speed ahead. So thank you for coming to the read today. I hope this conversation helped. Again, this is a tough situation, but I trust in you having the ability to figure it out. Yeah, I'll see you around, okay? Bye.